I would give anyone the advice, you're trying to solve for an AI-driven solution, first understand the problem.
Yeah.
I promise you, if you understand your problem, you can find a solution.
That's right.
The problem is people typically start with the solution and then try to find out which problem to solve with it. I hate that.
Yeah.
Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes.
Rob Schimek, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. And it's the end of the day, long day. But that said, you had a really big day. You had an announcement on the main stage. Tell us a little bit about what went on today.
Yeah, awesome. So it was a great pleasure to have the chance to be on the main stage to announce both AI for agencies. And, you know, our main concept behind that is that we are really in this business. And so when we build AI, we're not building general AI. We are an insurance business building AI for our own purposes.
Sure.
And then that can be used for all of the clients that we otherwise serve. Right. So the announcement was really a big deal if you think about it from an efficiency perspective. So we've been piloting this AI in our agency. We think that it saves something like 40% of the time of the agents.
Wow.
So that the agents can ultimately just serve more clients.
Sure.
So we can do more business.
Right. And manage relationships, which is what they're supposed to do, right? Not do admin work.
Exactly. I mean, it's just so much fragmented process, so much manual exercise, so much duplication of effort, triplication of effort.
Yeah.
And what if you can just eliminate that stuff and use AI to help you?
Yeah. Can you go into any detail on some of the feature functionality?
Yeah, just at a very high level, assume that you're an agency and first a call comes in from a customer. We have an AI receptionist that actually will be the first interface with that customer, taking the information from the customer. Actually, it will qualify the lead and take some of the basic information. It continues all the way through the process to where we can actually do what would normally be the manual inputs that you would do for 4 different carriers for 4 different products.
Right.
Now it will actually do it all automatically. And so what would have taken half an hour might take a minute. And so you can imagine how much time that ultimately creates and saves. So it begins with the original call from the receptionist. This is all linked together into the lead qualification, into the actual application, into getting the price, and then we can actually we never replace the agent.
Sure, no, of course.
So the agent, you know, we get it to the place where the agent then can go back, review what has happened, and then issue the quote.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about that is we can then take it right from there.
That's right.
And handle everything else end to end, really in an AI enabled way.
That's fantastic. What is, since you piloted it in your own agency first, what was the kind of the human capital or the human factors kind of change management involved in that?
You know, the way I think about a lot of what we want to do with AI is not so much about getting people out of the process, but continuing to give people the freedom to do the things that they really should be doing. I love what you said earlier. They should be spending their time on client satisfaction. They should be spending their time on the important elements of what they do. And if you can just eliminate that frustrating, they don't enjoy it anyway.
Sure.
The agent doesn't enjoy going through this manual process.
Right.
And if you can just eliminate that element, you make their own satisfaction go up. You make their customer satisfaction go up. You make their the amount of business that they can go up.
Sure.
And so that's been the main outcome for us. I think generally speaking, a higher level of satisfaction even for our own agents.
I love that. Rob, when you think about the risk that you took in going in that direction, the obvious investment that was required, what's some of the mental model, the thinking involved? We've got a lot of entrepreneurs that watch this thing. They're wanting to make a leap one direction or another. What's that mindset in terms of evaluating an opportunity and then making the plunge?
Yeah, it's complicated because we have to be relentless prioritizers. Capital is a super tight resource for anyone that's in this space, and so the way we think about it is that without capital we can't do anything. So we have to treat it as a super precious resource. So we do a relentless set of prioritization, but we do have some basic guiding principles of the things that we're trying to do. Number one, we never lose track of the guiding principle that says what we're really here to do is to solve this need that's out there for just getting more protection into more people's hands faster, more at the time that they need it, kind of in a super efficient, we call it tailored, affordable, accessible, and convenient manner. And so if these are the guiding principles and then you do relentless prioritization against them, an opportunity like this jumps out at you as almost not should you invest in it, but you need to invest in it. So for us, this one was a no-brainer. It doesn't mean that everything we do in AI is a no-brainer.
Sure.
But I would say this was a no-brainer.
Absolutely. I love how you position that. That prioritization, it kind of shows itself as the opportunity that requires it. That's a fantastic way to look at it. And if you're not seeing that, there's a problem with your prioritization, I suppose.
Exactly. And there's many times when you won't see that. And when people search so hard, when I see AI solutions come out there, one of the problems with them is there's so many solutions that don't have a problem that was really trying to be solved. And so I would give anyone the advice, you're trying to solve for an AI-driven solution, first understand the problem. I promise you, if you understand your problem, you can find a solution.
That's right.
The problem is people typically start with the solution and then try to find out which problem to solve with it. I hate that.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Rob, talk to me about embedded. I mean, this is a concept that it's I want to say it's new, but it's really not, because there's other areas of our life that we've been doing embedded forever. But it's taking more hold in the P&C space in particular. What does that opportunity look like for you in Bolt, and how is that being exploited, that opportunity?
We love the embedded space. As a matter of fact, I would define much of what we do, almost all of what we do, you could argue is embedded.
Okay.
And I say that because the examples of what people sometimes describe as embedded, they think of it as it's that packet of chewing gum that you're going to buy at the cash register at the moment you're leaving. Okay, but that's tiny, low ticket item. But many times we are doing embedded as part of a bigger campaign, and the embedded product might be homeowners insurance. Okay, well, homeowners insurance isn't the typical product you think of as embedded. So to me, it's more about reframing the definition of what is this embedded thing. And to me, that becomes embedded is providing the tailored, affordable, convenient, accessible insurance to a customer that is specific to the customer's need at the time that the customer needs it. So that can be, for example, if you were buying a home, at the moment that you're buying the home, being offered the protection on the home. When a vehicle gets sold, at the moment you're buying the vehicle, the protection gets sold. And the more that we can make that exactly at the point of need, very seamless, not a clunky start here and then move over here and then wait a day to get the process, but know the answer right away. And have it just be in this world of we all need instant gratification, we need instant satisfaction. You remember back in the day when we would go onto the internet and we would wait for the dial-up to happen. And now, exactly. And now if we don't have like a reaction in a second, we get frustrated. How can this be? So if you can just make it super successful by making it very simple, that's the key. And so we do embedded in tons of ways, but I think that the reason that it feels new to people is, and the reason it seems like it's getting so much more traction is because the definition of what it is and how it comes together is really expanding.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense, actually. And I hadn't thought of it in terms of and how you just related. I mean, I was at Allstate when we rolled out Allstate Dealer Services, where we would actually install Allstate agents in a dealer. That's a form of embedded insurance,
it sure is.
right? During
that
transaction.
And imagine for sure that experience has changed dramatically over time. So now what people would have thought was, worksite offering or something like that, now they think of it as it's digital and it is just truly embedded.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I know you're pressed for time, Rob. I just want to throw one more question out and crystal ball this here. I think about the application of AI. I think about it specifically in the flexibility of the solutions that Bolt offers. How can I start thinking about a future where products have an enormous amount of flexibility such that they're priced for me? Me specifically, right? Not spreadsheet based off of a couple of rating dynamics, but I almost sense that there's this opportunity out there for us to get to basically unit level pricing for an insured.
I believe this is where we're headed. I don't know exactly how long it will take. There's an Ernest Hemingway novel from the 1920s, The Sun Also Rises, and there was a great quote in there, and the question was, they were talking about bankruptcy, and how did you go bankrupt? And the answer was, slowly and then suddenly. And so it will feel that way. Like we're heading in this direction. It feels slow, but then it's going to happen. Awesome. And so to me, even think about it as IoT driven. Mm-hmm. The more that you have sensors that are able to help us get through our life day to day. And by the way, we're all using sensors different today than we were using them years ago. Yep. Exactly. My watch is a sensor. Right. It's tracking my activity every day, every moment. I wear it when I sleep. Yep. And so all of this data is making us smarter about information that is relevant to the risk. Yeah. And if we start to use that, so we've been using this gradually, people don't think of that watch that you have on as a sensor, but you know what it is? And there's lots of sensors in it. There's something like 15 different sensors in your iPhone.
That's right.
And so all of this information is creating data points that if we use them smartly and feed them back, ingest them, and provide them to the right party, then we can actually get a very differentiated answer. Many think about telematics for a driver. I can get information about your driving behavior, but I also can get information about the performance of the vehicle directly from the vehicle. And what if I can feed that information directly back to the underwriter, so the underwriter can make very specific, very detailed decisions about what kind of risk that they're really facing. This is really available today.
Right.
It has happened over time. And then there's going to be a day where that switch sort of flips and you're starting to see it. It happens sort of out of necessity. Think about an electric vehicle, non-combustion vehicles. They're really coming of age, but the insurance of them is different than insuring a combustion vehicle that's been around for a long, long time.
Right.
And you get this pricing disparity. And out of necessity, the world's going to have to start to use some of that data to align that pricing so that it actually reflects the real risk that we have. So to me, I'm just using those as examples, but those are examples of sensor-driven, smarter use of the data. I think if you really fast forward, we can get to a place where we have a profile on you.
That's right.
And have the ability to insure you. Yep. And that you is everything about you.
Right.
Now, is that tomorrow? No. I think it will happen gradually and then suddenly.
I love it. I love it. Rob Schimek, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
This has been so amazing, and congratulations on your launch and all your success.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.